Hello, I'm Joseph Dillard. Welcome to the Integral Deep Listening video curricula. In this video, I want to share with you a metaphor for how and why meditation is so powerful and effective. Imagine that you are at sea in a small sailboat. When the ocean is smooth, you're happy and relaxed, enjoying the sun, the breeze, and the peace of nature. There are gorgeous sunrises and sunsets. You admire the balance of wind, sails, rigging, waves, and the freedom of being out in a vast expanse of blue sky, sun, clouds, and water. However, every now and then, when a storm kicks up, you're at the mercy of the wind and waves. You can get tossed around until you turn green. Sometimes you are afraid you will capsize and drown. More than once you have been caught in storms with waves so high, so unremitting, with so much water crashing in upon you that you wish you were dead. So, you do your best to avoid such storms. You're constantly vigilant for storms and where there will be fair weather and smooth seas. You know that as long as you are in your small boat in the open sea, you are vulnerable to the next storm or hurricane. You listen closely to the weather and do your best to be wherever a storm is not. Sometimes you sail for miles and miles out of your way to avoid the possibility of bad weather. In the background of your mind, even when the weather is fair, the seas are calm and the sun is warm. You're vigilant and looking for signs of change in the weather. Life is a lot like this, particularly if we've been traumatized when we were young, as many of us were. We all know we are vulnerable to circumstances beyond our control, and many of us have been deeply traumatized by intense, powerful storms in our lives. The common response is to become constantly vigilant, if not hypervigilant, like a survivor of post-traumatic stress disorder. And we do so in an attempt to avoid a repeat of the trauma. Sadly, by doing so, we not only make peace of mind impossible, but seriously disrupt our mental and physical health. As the months and years go by, most of us spend our lives enjoying the quiet seas. But even then, in the back of our minds, there is the awareness that our entire lives could be capsized by the next big storm. So, you and I remain on guard, always looking to outrun storms, afraid we will be caught in one and drown. But that's optional, and here's why. One day, out in the middle of the ocean, you find yourself face to face with what you have most feared. You are in a violent hurricane with ferocious winds, holding on for dear life. Sick, miserable, and scared to death as you roll and toss while huge waves crash over you. You're crouched on the floor of your boat, and there you notice something you haven't seen before, a small red button. On a dirty metal plate on the floor next to it, there are the words, "Push to submerge." This makes no sense to you. If you submerge, you'll drown. Crazy. You hunker down and do your best to not get thrown out of your craft as the storm rages about you. Finally, the storm subsides. Thank God. Profoundly relieved, you can now spend more months enjoying calm and beautiful seas. Yet all the while, you remain constantly on guard for storms. Uneasy vigilance is your life. In time, the inevitable happens. You are caught again in a raging, violent storm in the middle of the night, catapulted from the crest of one tremendous wave down, 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 into the vast trough of the next, with the seas crashing in upon you. You're sick of these storms, of your fear, of constantly being vigilant, of always working to outguess and outrun storms. You want to die. In desperation, you remember that little red button on the floor. What is it? You think, what do I have to lose from pressing it? If I submerge, I will drown, and my constant dread and running avoidance, escaping, will be over. So, gritting your teeth, you lean over and press the button and prepare to die. Nothing happens. You continue to be tossed about violently by the storm. Then you notice something strange and astonishing. Curved glass panels are rising out of the gunnels on either side of you, along the length of each side of your violently tossing little boat. As those clear sheets of curved glass rise, more of the water of the incoming waves crashes against them, buffeting your boat, yet keeping the seas out of your craft. You watch in amazement as the panels continue to rise until they meet and close above your head. The waves crash against them, and your boat rocks, but no water can come in. What a relief. Now something else seems to be happening. The water is reaching higher on the sides of the glass all around you. You realize that you are sinking beneath the surface. Your boat continues to rock, but less so, as the water climbs the glass sides around you. Finally, the water meets above you. The cloud, sky, and wind disappear. You're completely submerged. As you sink beneath the trough of the waves, there's noticeably less rocking. As you continue to sink, the rolling and pitching ceases entirely. You have only traveled a few meters down beneath the waves, but now you're out of the storm. All is calm, peaceful, and quiet. What an amazing change from the deadly buffeting you were getting only minutes before. The storm's still there, raging above you, but now all is peaceful and calm. But you have not spent days and years in fear of the next storm or trying to outrun one. You have only moved a few meters. After some time, you cautiously move up toward the surface. It gets lighter. The sea is calmer, and the sun is out. You surface, and the glass side panels automatically retract into the gunnels. Everything is now peaceful on the surface as it was below. From now on, you can sail the seas without fear. You no longer have your direction in life determined by your desire to avoid possible storms or your fear of a loss of control and death. Instead, you can go where you like, knowing that when a storm arises, you need only submerge a bit, let it pass over, and then return to the surface to continue on your way. You no longer have to spend your life on the run, constantly vigilant. How much less time and energy and worry you now spend, all because you found that button and had the courage to push it. Meditations like this. We spend our lives on the horizontal surface of reality, with the past stretching behind us in our memories, and our future stretching to the far horizon of our hopes, dreams, and fears. We spend our days moving horizontally across the surface of our life in a futile attempt to constantly experience the calm seas of comfort and pleasure, and to completely avoid the stormy seas of misery and suffering. Our addictions are designed to anesthetize us so that we can forget our fear, but they provide only temporary rescuing relief, and that anxiety, discomfort, and dread always return as persecutors. Despite our best efforts, we remain vulnerable, victims in the drama triangle. We know that there can arise at any moment circumstances beyond our control that can swamp our lives and throw them into chaos. Meditation allows us to live without such fears. It is not that the storms of life will go away or that there won't be danger, but only that we now have confidence that we can avoid and neutralize those tempests that come along. It is not that all fears are harmful or useless, only that most are false alarms, and both ignoring and overreacting to them creates stress that deprives us of peace of mind we need to problem solve and deeply listen to others. So, how is your life like being in a small boat on the sea of life? How much fear do you have of being tossed around on its waves? How much fear do you have of being drowned by the storms of life? How far out of your way, how far off your course do you let your addictions and fears carry you? How good are you at centering in the here and now, in a storm, instead of trying to avoid it? How good are you at sinking down into your inner peace when there is drama? Is that ability, your ability to find and stay in peace of mind, something worth learning and practicing? You can learn to move vertically in your awareness, wherever you are, into a space of peace and centeredness in the here and now. Moving into the center of the cyclone of your life, into the eye of the storm, you access a power and confidence that saves you time, energy, and worry. The entire IDL video curricula can be found at integraldeeplistening.com. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.